a Chinese legislator, maybe a Hong Kong legislator, is quoted as saying, quote, "This is the end of Hong Kong." Because the way Hong Kong's been since the British had to turn it back is one country, two systems. The one country it's China, but they've acknowledged they had, the Chinese, two systems, the mainland system of how they run it, and Hong Kong is like a semi-autonomous part of China now. One country, two systems, right?
Yeah.
Once they invade this place and kill all the demonstrators and everybody, it's going to be one country, one system.
Right.
And that'll be the end of Hong Kong as we've known it for over 100 years.
Yeah, but that's going to obviously provoke a backlash like we've never seen from the pro-democracy folks. No doubt about that.
And now I had heard, because it goes back to pre-pandemic. You remember around Christmas time, stories were coming out of China with documents to show that over 1 million Muslims in Western China were locked up in re-education camps.
Yes.
And when their children were coming home for the holidays in December, they were finding their parents and grandparents were gone, shipped off to these camps. And someone in the Chinese government was leaking these documents out to the media over here to get the word out that this is what's going on. The other thing I've heard, and if you've ever had this guy on your show, or if you haven't, you got to get him, Gordon Chang.
No, I haven't.
And
Gordon Chang.
Oh, my God. You got to get him, Phil.
All right.
He is the best. He is an American of Chinese ancestry. He is an expert on China, fluent in a couple of dialects, and he's got predictions about what's coming in the future in China. He does not think this Chinese government will survive forever, that they will fall. And, he's very honest about the future of what's coming in China. So I highly recommend people read him. He writes a lot of columns. He's on all the shows, on all the different networks a lot. Gordon Chang.
All right.
And that is, to me, the question of our lifetime is, will the Communist Chinese Party last for another 10, 20, 30 years in China, or will the people of China bring about a substantive change the way the Soviet Communist Party fell? Whoever thought that was going to fall?
Exactly.
It fell.
Right.
And no bullets were fired. And apparently on an average day in mainland China, and it's not reported because there's no free media, there are 200 public demonstrations against the central government. There's a lot of unrest in that populace against Xi and the commies. So in the long run, we got to keep our eye on that.
Yeah, absolutely. And you're right. Oh, my gosh, absolutely. Let me ask you about our economy here in Massachusetts. We're hearing some horror stories about these benefits going to people who really ought not get them. But also, it's happening did you hear about Planned Parenthood, John, that they had 37 affiliates who applied for and received $80 million in funds under this Paycheck Protection Program. You know, like Harvard, they applied for and received all of their money, and then
they got $8 million, Harvard, and they turned it back under public pressure.
Yeah, under public pressure. Yeah. But now public pressure is on Planned Parenthood, on these affiliates, to do the same thing, to return the money. And I don't want to talk about that specifically. I just want to pivot and ask you about Mnuchin's idea of, we need more money for the states to reopen the economy, corona relief money. Have we learned anything so far from the gaffes? There are some big gaffes in this CARES Act.
Yeah. Well, it was inevitable because it was done quickly. And anytime anybody rushes anything, whether you're writing a paper in school or you're doing a government bailout program, you're under extreme pressure. There's an emergency situation here. They did it quickly, and they've made mistakes. Then they've tried to correct them in the subsequent bills. There's going to be another big bill coming, And I think any fixes they can make in the CARES Act, they'll try to fix it, because they do admit that things have not worked properly across the board.
Yeah.
There is a big disagreement going on between the House and the Senate over the size of the next one. Last Friday, a week ago today, the Democrats narrowly passed the fourth bailout bill for $3.3 trillion, I think it was.
Right.
And McConnell says over in the Senate, we're not doing that. The most we'll do will be $1 trillion.
Right.
Well, I'll bet you some money, okay? It's going to be closer to the $3 trillion than his $1 trillion. Because the only way, and don't forget, most of these politicians are up for re-election this year. Mm-hmm. They do think about that a lot. What are they going to do? The 38 million people out of work, at least. If you're running for re-election, you've got to look those people. They're voters, too. You got to look at them and say, hey, I'm giving you $2,000 a month now. Not $1,200. We're going to up it to $2,000, and we're going to give it to you every month for the rest of this year. That's what's coming. No doubt in my mind. Stuff like
John,
that.
I'm not sure, because I know McConnell told this week, he said that $600 a week boost in the unemployment check, that was part of the legislation before, won't be included in the next bill. So
well, he says a lot of things, and then he gets set straight real fast. And he's lost every round of this. He's lost every one of them. Pelosi and the Democrats, and with support from Trump. Trump's been signing these bills. Trump's no fool. You got to give money to the voters. This thing's crapping out. They're losing their jobs. They have no money.
This is it.
The only way to get the economy working is to have people spending money. They have to go to a mall, buy a pair of shoes, go to a restaurant, buy dinner. With what?
Exactly.
They have no money.
So this is
the money.
The debate.
McConnell is, believe me, McConnell's almost irrelevant on this thing.
So here's the debate. The Republicans have criticized this, boost, saying that it's a disincentive for people to return to working, and they're right. All right. I've spoken with owners who are saying, Phil, if you're making $1,200 a week, are you going to come back at $15 an hour?
Who's getting Where's this $1,200 a week coming from? It was one-time payment of $1,200.
I'm not talking about the stimulus money. I'm talking about unemployment benefits.
Well, you don't get it forever, and you don't get it. You don't get health insurance. The minute you're out of work, you lose your health. If you get your health insurance from your employer, I don't know how many people are happily sitting at home collecting unemployment and thinking, I'm not going back to work. There are some, undoubtedly, but most people want more than that money. And they want to get their health insurance, and they want to get out of the house and go to work.
Well, this is the other side of the debate. The Democrats are arguing that, by giving enhanced benefits, it's, as you pointed out, critical for all these people who've lost their jobs to be able to get their health insurance, buy things. And so there's your debate in Washington. And you think the Democrats are going to win that argument?
That's not any doubt in my mind they're going to win. And if you polled the American people and asked them, what do you want to do? It would be 80-20. Give us more money. And by the way, like 60-some-odd% across the board, including a majority of Republicans, don't think it's safe yet to go back out into the world regularly, work, subway, train, airplane, whatever. They're very wary about it. That also is a reason people don't want to go back to work. They're afraid of it. They're afraid of getting sick. And until that fear subsides, some of them won't go. Mm-hmm. And I stress to you, we're 5 months from an election. The whole House is up. President is up. A third of the Senate, including McConnell, and his control of the Senate rides on the election. They are going to give more money to the voters soon. You watch. Canada is ahead of us. They now give $2,000 a month to every person. And we're going to go that route. I have no doubt. By July, we'll be doing it. And it'll go for the rest of this year until this economy starts zooming up.
All right. Let me end on this note. Biden is on TV. I think he was on with Colbert.
He was on Colbert last night. He was very good. Very good. I watched it. It was good.
So any indication about his VP choice or anything like that?
No. You're starting to see some stories saying it's going to be Klobuchar, some saying it's Harris, some saying other ones are getting vetted. Val Deming said she's being vetted. Gretchen Whitmer of Michigan's being vetted. All names we expect. To me, it's going to be one of two. It's either going to be Harris or Klobuchar.
Interesting.
Yeah.
So I think Warren is in there just for the mere numbers of people, because the far left is not enamored in any way with Joe Biden. They may stay home from the election.
They won't. They're all coming out against Trump. And the problem with Warren is she didn't really run very well. I mean, for all the hype.
I agree.
She didn't do well. Of the three, neither did Harris. Right. Klobuchar is the one that actually did better than we expected. So I think that's why she's a finalist with Kamala Harris. Kamala Harris is a finalist because she's a woman of color, and she's very sharp. She will be very good on the stump prosecuting a case against Trump. And in a debate against Pence, she'll hold her own. Right. That's why I think she's on there. Plus, as Doug Schoen keeps telling me, the black leadership in the Democratic Party has veto power over the vice presidential pick. That Biden owes them the nomination. He won it because of Clyburn and the black leadership endorsing him. And they, therefore, are going to get a black woman on that ticket. And that's going to probably be Harris.
Oh, that's interesting. That's from Doug Schoen.
Doug Schoen. Yeah, he's adamant about it.
Wow.
They get a black person or they get veto power over whoever Biden picks. But I agree with you. Warren is clearly in the top tier, 5 people. No doubt.
Right.
No doubt.
Right. Well, I hope Plumlee has a beautiful weekend. Tell her we love her.
She's chasing some bumblebees right now. She thinks all this pessimistic talk about the economy is wrong.
Take good care of yourself. Stay well and safe, John.